Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise and honor that's due to Yahweh Shah Hashem Shah. Double honor to the elders and apostles of the Muslim who well, even but the others for the 4,000 and the hope for them. Shalom Barak Thumb. An article came by my attention yesterday. I was watching the video. I'm just going to title this The Bloody Man, okay, because the scriptures speak about the bloody man, okay, and I just typed in the word bloody to get all the precepts that refer to that, okay, and this is indeed the man that Esau, the man that the scriptures are talking about, Esau, Edom, okay. Now, it says here, reports indicate that 37 candidates were assassinated in Mexico during the 2024 election. Okay, that didn't even really make the news like that. Now, I found the article, but it didn't make any headlines, and it didn't catch mainstream media news, and that's pretty substantial. Okay, that's over 3 dozen people, guys, just openly whacked, man, that were competing. Meanwhile, you know, they're talking about Venezuela is the demonic, uh, uh, what do you call it, country. Okay, why are they saying Venezuela is a demonic country? You know, they didn't do all of this, man. They support the guy Maduro over there. He didn't have anybody whacked, you know. And if he did, it wasn't to this number, but the people there support him, which is the main point. Okay. Meanwhile, he supports Mexico. Okay. And we're gonna find out why he supports Mexico. Okay. And if he really cared about the drug buy, he would be investigating why 3 dozen candidates get put down in the Mexico election. Okay. Before the death, man, and you're gonna find out why, because it's not just Issachar wilding out, okay? Which Issachar is demonic. He's definitely a demon down there, okay? But ultimately, whenever you find Israelites going off, you find a serpent right behind them, okay, egging them on with the bottle, okay? I'm gonna get that real quick before I go back to this, okay? All of these cartels, okay, they don't exist in a vacuum, okay? Esau sanctions this, okay? He's had the power to do this the entire time. Hold on, the lock. Let me get that. Habakkuk 2 and 15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, and that putteth thy bottle to him. See, why is the cocaine business so roaring? Okay, why is there a big pipeline basically from Colombia all the way up through Mexico? That's basically how it gets here, that consistently. How much cocaine is going through the neighborhood, you know, of Jake over here in America over the decades? You couldn't count it, man. This is the bottle that Esau put to him. We were not selling drugs before the civil rights movement. Okay, we didn't have a bunch of guns and drugs in our neighborhoods. We didn't have baby mama problems. We didn't have, you know, all of these issues we got today. Where did it come from? We weren't perverted with feminism. Okay, it says, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look upon their nakedness. Because see, now Trump can get up there and say, look at these dirty Mexicans. But what they're not telling you is who's really running this place. Okay, why did they do all of this? All right. It says, going back to the article, or this Google headline here, it says violence related to the organized crime is considered a major factor in these assassinations. A major factor, that is what it is, man. Okay. It says particularly for those seeking local and regional office. All right. The final count security consultancy in Teglalia recorded 37 assassinations, surpassing the 36 deaths seen during the 2021 midterm election. See? Because their Issachar outnumbers Esau there, okay? And see, although you have these countries that you think Issachar got their own country, they don't, okay? It's run by Edomites, okay? The same with Jamaica. I believe the head guy is it Jamaica or Dominican Republic. He's a small head. Okay, you see, and what you're gonna find out when I go to it here. Um, I said, who's the president of Mexico? Look, it's a woman. Okay, because ultimately most nations, especially with men, and they have men that have stake in the country or the land that they live in, they're going to reject the idea of having a woman rule over them. This is a Western philosophy. Okay, don't let Esau talk you into thinking that this shit is normal. Okay, only Esau does this, places a woman at the head. Okay, it's really emasculating. Okay, to the population. But anyway, you catch her name, Claudia Scheinbaum, Pardo. You see, and they got these long ass names, and you know, in Mexico, they're known for having four or five names. You know, okay, but look at who they put in there. So all of that violence, so this woman could be placed in there. You see, it says Claudia Scheinbaum Pardo is a Mexican politician. Okay, but look, she's an energy and climate change scientist and academic who is the 66th and current president of Mexico. A very demonic number, man. Okay, you got 66. Okay, she's the 66th president, man. All right, and the thing that should alarm you the most is that when you see climate change, that means you know she's placed by a much larger order, really known as the World Economic Forum. But these are all Edomites controlling all these organizations behind the scenes. Okay, so she's a plant. Okay, she's placed there. That's why you had 37 candidates get dropped out. They're not going to let an Issacharite run it. Okay, they all speak Spanish. They may have a Spanish name, like he has Pardo in the back of his name. Okay, but really deep down, who are they? And you'll find the same thing. I believe Javier Malay might be one too. Okay, you'll find the same thing in these other countries as well, man. Down there in the Caribbean. Okay, won't make this too long. I just thought this was interesting about how the devil works. Okay, well, when the scriptures say, as a matter of fact, let me get that. In Job 9 and 24, it says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Okay, he covered the faces of the judges thereof. All right, and so what he has is the people represent a different ethnic group, but it's really run by one big mafia. Okay, that's why the cartels have not been quelled by Trump. Okay, that's why he's targeting Venezuela over Mexico, man. With Mexico, that should be the number one priority. That borders the United States. Okay, you have a Coast Guard, so they can't get it in by boat. Okay, so Mexico should be the number one priority if he's so worried about drugs, but he's not really worried about drugs, is he? He's okay with fentanyl and cocaine and all these other drugs crossing the border because he knows exactly where it's going to end up. It ain't going to end up in Beverly Hills, okay? It's not going to end up in the Hamptons, okay? Well, the cocaine probably will. You know, Esau does drugs and shit too, okay? But he knows what areas it's going to destroy. It's going to destroy the neighborhood of Jake. That's why the cartels have been allowed to exist. They could have been designated as a terrorist organization, okay? Way back when they were naming everybody terrorists back in 2003, okay? After the Patriot Act. But see, they were okay with these drugs coming in. So why are they making a big deal about Venezuela? Okay? Because the Venezuelans got oil. Okay? That's why. And the president is not friendly to them. Okay, he wants to keep it for his own people, and that's a problem. Okay, see, Maduro is not a small hat. Okay, everywhere Esau let a Jake rule or a person of the native country rule as long as they sold out. You see, but they're not just gonna let you rock in your own country with all of them resources by yourself and be independent. No, man. This guy is Jeremiah. This guy is the hammer of the earth. Jeremiah 50 and 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Okay, because that is the latter end of this guy, man. Okay, and we know that because when we put the word bloody and that's in Nahum. Okay, we know the latter end of the bloody man and the man that establishes the city with blood. Okay, and it says, um, I'll read a few of these. Psalm 5 and 6. Thou shalt destroy them that speak leasing. The Lord Jehovah will abhor the bloody and deceitful man. Okay, so you're going to be left desolate. Okay, all you bloody people, and that includes you voters. Okay, you're all going to be dealt with the judgment of the heavenly Father. Okay. Psalm 26 and 9, gather not my soul with sinners, nor my life with bloody men, because bloody men are a liability. Okay? Men that don't have resist, the Lord puts it even, he puts a hesitancy and a resistance to kill. Okay, if you ever had to, or you ever spoken to someone that's killed someone, you know, or had to take a life, the first time you do it, it's a pressure there. Okay? You know, it's hard to do. But then the third time, it's easy. See? And that's what Esau is. He came out of the womb already with a hair trigger for blood, man. Okay? And but you don't want to be around a man like that, okay? He doesn't value life the same, okay? There's a reason King David wasn't allowed to do particular things, have his throne established, okay? There's a reason why, men that dealt with war had to be unclean for 7 days, okay? You know, because you're wound up after taking a life. It's real easy to take another one. You know, go ask those Delta forces, man. Those SEALs. They got a phrase called being wound tight. Okay, I was gonna Google it, but I might be able to get to the pull up. Yep, military phrase wound tight or tightly wound means the person is under a great deal of stress, tension, and anxiety. Okay, and that's what happens when they got to put in kick doors and night vision. Okay, popping people. A lot of times with the kids, the women, they get told the wrong target, and they have PTSD, and it says, first one says highly reactive, high alert, physically tense, okay, type A personality. So there's a cool off period, man. So you run a man that's just bloody all the goddamn time. He's a goddamn liability, man. That's what Esau is all the time. Okay, Esau's perpetually unclean for blood. Okay, it says Psalm 139 and 19. Surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O power, depart from me, therefore, you bloody men. Ezekiel 17:22, make a change, for the land is full of bloody crime, and the city is full of violence. Okay, when you read Ezekiel 7th chapter, you see what happens soon after that, man. Okay, sudden destruction, it says in verse 25, I believe. You know, and then the Lord speaks about heaping mischief after mischief on top of this place, because this place really is full of blood. Everywhere you go, this is what you have. Okay. So the world leaders, they know what they're doing, okay? When you see Bibi Netanyahu, you think he's the only you know, small hat ruling the country. No, okay. Ezekiel 24:6. Wherefore, thus saith the Lord Jehovah Bashem Yahushai, woe to the bloody city, to the pot whose scum is therein, whose scum is not gone out. Oh, can't see the whole thing. Is not gone out. Bring it out piece by piece. Let no lot fall upon it. Okay. So the latter end, America's not going to be touched again, man. Okay. The scriptures say this is going to be a place for what does it say? The satires and the dragons. Okay, and the owls. You know, basically desert creatures. Okay. Because that this place is going to be desolate forever. Okay. Verse 9, it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Jehovah Shai, woe to the bloody city. I will even make the pile for fire great. Okay? That's what's set up here, man. All right? Woe to the bloody city. It is all, Nahum 3 and 1, Salakia. Woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery, and the prey departed not. Okay? And the prey are the Israelites down there, man. You got a lot of Issacharites down there, man. You got a lot of Judites down there, and now it's really a lot of Northern Kingdom in general are down there, you know, coming up from South America, you know, Venezuelans, they migrate up north, you know, which are the tribe of Asher. Okay, you have the Zebulonites, okay, that come from Costa Rica, Panama, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Guatemala, okay, and they go up north, but they all try to get to America, okay. All right, so the bloodiness of this guy is being revealed. Okay, we didn't know these things before, but see now every weird thing that's happening in the news, they're all looking at this guy, man. Okay, and I'll go back to this image of her. This guy is a woman, but look at her. She pushing climate change. Why? You see, that's just a dead giveaway, man. And I have to do some more research on the other countries that have small hat ruling over them. Okay, so you know, I'll aim to say, Lord will be back with another lesson later. On to the next show.